It is Midweek Extra. We're in association with NordVPN. We won. We're all happy. It is John Gibbons. I'm joined by Dan Eastwood, by Jimmy Carr, and by Ian Salmon. More from NordVPN later. Huge thanks to them, of course. We've also got an insert from TAW with Your Light Matters. So looking forward to hearing more about some fantastic stuff they've got planned in the city. But Ian, did you skip in this morning, or is that dangerous at your age?
Well, my knees wouldn't take the skipping, so I ambled nicely. I've done 2 shows in 3 days, so I did the preview for this, and now I'm doing the post. And the difference between the me that was sat there on Tuesday and the me that sat there, I said I was schizophrenic about the whole thing. At the moment, the upside of me is really enjoying this. I had a lovely night watching the match last night. That was excellent.
You went last night, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Got in at 3 in the morning. You're still up bright and early. It's amazing what a win can do. Feel the energy levels.
I think it's the youth of me, to be honest. But no, we were fantastic last night. It was a brilliant trip, and the way home was a little bit dodgy. Like the roads were really, really wet, to say the least. But it's a great trip.
Worth going.
Yeah, 100%. I'd get up at 3. I'd go to bed at 3 o'clock every morning if it meant the full one, and I was this happy. So I'm very happy.
How was the atmosphere? It come across good on the telly.
Do you know what? It was brilliant. You know, it was much needed. It was something that, especially what we needed on the road, and to go to a ground like that where they've not lost their home all season.
Yeah.
To go and they were so quiet, the home fans, and after the wise men at the beginning, they were nil and void for the rest of the game. And I think it's solely because we outsang them, and we were unbelievable from minute 1 to minute 90. Well, 98 if you add all the added time and stuff, but we were outstanding last night.
It's funny, isn't it, what one win can do, down to your mood, to your optimism, and just how you look at it. And you know, after the weekend, I was looking down and thinking there was a scary moment last night. Well, the other night, 2 nights ago, when Everton went above us in the table, and you're like, God, how low could we finish here? Now I'm like, oh, it's a shame Villa drop points if you have to them. It's just one win.
Honestly, last night were massive. I mean, especially night before, given the Chelsea result and obviously Man U as well, we had to capitalise on it. And we did do it. It was a solid performance. I thought we were brilliant. Like you said, I was surprised because I thought, I didn't know if my dad just had TV on or what, but I thought, you hear all season about how good their crowd is. It just doesn't sound lively. All Liverpool were perfect. For first 20, 30 minutes, we grew into the game. We nullified their fans. And after that, you know, Florian Wirtz just coming to his own. He's just unbelievable. I love him.
I mean, we do plenty on Florian, but he was allowed to play from the foundations that were built in a real solid away performance. And I was watching it in the first half, and I was like, I think we're playing well here. I think this is looking good. And then, like, it's been sort of that long. I was like, I better just check on social, which is it. And I was like, playing well here. And I'm like, oh, good. It's not just me. But then you get to half time. They unfortunately haven't scored, and then you're like, oh, well, hopefully they can make the most of it. They can build on it sort of second half, and that's what they did. And that was the most pleasing thing for me, Ian. Because we haven't seen many complete 90-minute performances this season. Against Man City, they were good for half an hour. In other games, you know, across the season, they've been good in spells, but you can't win enough games like that. You can't allow teams into it. I thought last night, pretty much from start to finish, they were the better team, going to a tough place, and you know, they've not got beat there all year.
Yeah, it was a full 90-minute performance. Everything we did was what we needed to do. Been listening to Pink on the way in, and you know, I agreed with pretty much everything everyone said. But it was the away performance of champions or potential champions. It's the game that you go that is always going to be difficult. It's that old. I'll throw out the same cliche everyone else is going to throw out. It's the old, can he do it on a wet Wednesday? And it's kind of like, can Florian Wirtz do it in a biblically hideous rainstorm at Sunderland? Yes, he can, and so can the rest of the team. And I thought everything we did last night, first 20 minutes, I wasn't sure what our shape was. I wasn't sure where we were going. But we settled and we grew. And it was kind of like, it was that nullifying. It's the away European game where you go there and you shut the crowd up. And we shut them up perfectly.
Oh, 100%.
It's a very odd place, isn't it? Because the beginning of their match is so staged in terms of, we're going to have this classical music, and then you're going to come out and we're going to do 8 bars of Elvis Presley for no apparent reason. There doesn't appear to be an organic thing. We've decided to do this. We're going to turn the lights on and off until the epileptics in the crowd are having a real problem with what we're doing. It was just
maybe they're trying to disorientate everyone.
Maybe they're trying to confuse us. So is this how we're going to end up playing?
Couldn't cope.
Are we going to play Are we going to play and the lights are going to be going on and off? It's just odd. We were masterful. There was not a bad performance on the field. Everybody stood up. Everybody made sure they were counted. And we went somewhere where they're a very big team. They're a very physical team. They're a very good team. They know what they're doing, and they've got some very handy lads. That, you can see why they've gone unbeaten at home all season. You can see why they are where they are in the league and why they got the start. They're a good, well-coached, well-set-up team who cause problems for you. And the battle between, I'm going to get his name wrong, Brobby?
Right,
yeah. It's a hard name to say with new teeth. It's too many R's in that one for me. Between him and Konate, that's a proper centre forward, centre back battle. And that set the tone for the game for me. What Konate did with him, I think, set the tone for the whole game.
Winning your battles is massive, isn't it? Away from home, especially Jimmy. And there's been too many times this season where we haven't, but. I thought across the pitch, people were winning their individual battles. I thought the midfield was really strong, but as Ian said, Konate really symbolised that, really, because he probably had the hardest battle of all. Certainly the most one-on-one battle and the most obvious battle, but he did great.
We were so defensively sound. Both centre-backs, the full-backs, to the midfield three. I thought where we lacked the most was the front three. The outlet, there was no outlet. Every time the ball was pinged up the pitch, there was no one holding the ball up.
Yeah, because he was having
Hugo looked legless. Both of the wingers looked poor. But it was such a defensively solid performance, which going on the road you need.
I didn't think Salah was bad, actually. I thought he was okay at moments. Gakpo was it?
He was Gakpo, wasn't he? To say the least. But Ekitike didn't look at his best.
No.
Neither did Gakpo. I thought Salah was okay in glimpses. He'd have 5 minutes here and there, but then them poor 5 minutes were really poor.
Yeah.
But then the good 5 minutes were average. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
I thought he held his man up really well. Is it Reynaldo, their fullback, who played last night?
Was, yeah.
He dealt with him really well, I think, when the ball was held up. He was the only sort of outlet we had, but we give them so much of the ball. But
I thought Ekitike struggled to hold it up quite a lot last night.
But really. I think he normally struggles against big centre backs though.
Yeah.
Like the only time I've really seen him deal with 2 big centre backs is Newcastle, and it's because it was defeat. He was kind of playing off Malik Chow, and he stayed away from Dan Burn.
Yeah.
But he was playing off Malik Chow. But I think he struggled last night. But like John said, you need them massive them one-on-one battles. I thought Konate and McAllister were brilliant. McAllister was of old last season. The way he was at the ankles, he was biting. He was
aggressive, wasn't he?
He was so aggressive every time they had the ball. He was just like bang, and he'd win it back, and then he'd see a pass, and then if we give it away, he'd be straight in there. He was like a yard dog last night, McAllister, and that's what we missed.
See, it's weird. I didn't spot any of that. Listening to Pink, everyone was raving about McAllister, and I thought he was fairly anonymous. But
I loved him.
I thought he was outstanding.
I've missed something.
I thought he was outstanding last night. People raving on about how good Gavin Birch was and Konate was, but for me, the man of the match last night was McAllister. I thought he was outstanding. There was a point in the second half where we had our backs against the wall, and the ball come into the box, and he'd won the first ball, and he'd been dragged down. He got back up again on the byline, got it, and then played the ball and got straight back into the middle of the park, and then won a ball again.
He did one of them as well, where he celebrated, did he? As well, when he won a tackle in the middle of the park, and he literally got up and fist pumping and everything.
He had about 2 absolutely spectacular minutes. Yeah. Then I lost sight of him again. So it's not him, it's me.
Yeah, he was outstanding last night, McAllister and Konate as well. Props to him since he's come back into the squad. He's been absolutely outstanding. He's struggled a lot this season, and I hate to do what Slot does and criticise people when they're playing well, because he done it in the press conference before, saying that he's had wobbly moments this season, but that's what you need. You need him to bounce back and have performances like that, and that's 3 or 4 back-to-back performances where Konate's been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, it looks like whatever was going. I mean, we know some of what was going on with Konate. His dad wasn't well, and unfortunately passed away. And I think that was probably playing on. There was maybe some contract stuff. There was Madrid talk, or maybe just in a bad run of form and affected his confidence. Whatever combination of thing it was, it's great to see the Konate that we know, because he has been a great player for Liverpool, and we're seeing that quality at the moment.
Yeah, he's been literally unbelievable since he came back. Obviously, he could have been out for God knows how long, and then no one had judged him for it. Obviously, I think he said to the manager, didn't he? He said, "Look, you need me. I'm coming back." And since he's been back in the side, he's been unbelievable. And he's had his critics this season, and rightly so. You know, I think probably the first third of the season he was a bit shaky. He was probably lucky that he didn't have much competition at centre half, if I'm honest.
Yeah, he was his place, probably one.
I would have thought so, you know, definitely. But since he's come back, I think it epitomised it as well. I think on Sunday he won a tackle against someone, and it was down near the City fans in the corner by the main stand, and he got up and he celebrated like he just scored a goal, and I just thought that's exactly what we need. That's the kind of character, that's the kind of performance, the attitude that we need from you till the end of the season now to try and get us into this top 4, top 5.
Which then gives him the confidence to make the tackle he made last night going round the back of Brodby. So that was immense. That
he had to try, didn't he?
Like, and it has to be perfect.
Yeah, or it's a penalty. But obviously, if you don't have the confidence to do it, then it's a shot away. And although the keeper's pretty good, it's still got a decent chance of going in from there. And so I thought that was a big moment.
I thought that was absolutely huge. I thought we know what he can do as a player, and that's the player that we've always known he can be. And he's doing it consistently at the moment. I mean, obviously, you can say 4 or 5 games. It's
the most consistent he's been all season, though, so you've got to take it.
Yeah. And he's been awful this season, but if there are so many reasons behind it, you know, we forget the players are human beings, and there are things outside that actually affect their lives. Yeah. And, you know, anybody who's been through anything knows how it affects their job and their day-to-day life. It's the same for them. It's the job they're doing. So, you know, there
was a few risky moments last night where he was in the box, and like you say, some of the challenges he was putting in was perfect. Honestly, it was really good.
He's getting round his man. He's putting his leg in front of him.
Yeah, knowing when to let go as well. Because obviously a couple of times when they both had their arms over each other, and he was smart enough to realise, like, I need to let go of you now to risk not giving a penalty away.
Well, the wrestling between the two of them was just on the right side of the margins. It was like watching football in 1975. It was fantastic.
Neither of them complained though, did they? That
Jimmy will take your word for it.
Yeah, I know a lot of football in the 1970s. It's my era, that.
It's on YouTube.
Black and white.
No, we'd invented colour.
Just about. The platform is there for Wirtz to shine, and like you say, Jimmy, the 3 above him, you know, maybe struggled in sorts of different ways throughout the game, but Wirtz just needs someone to pass to, give it back, and the 1-2s, and yeah, he was great on what maybe, I don't know, a quality of pitch that he's not used to playing on, I don't know, but because of all the weather and everything, but I thought he's brilliant.
I don't know what, I found him going on his own a little bit more last night as well, because normally the passes on forward or sideways as we've been doing this season, but there was a lot of times where he had the confidence where he'd drive into the box and he'd take his man on, he'd beat him, but then he'd get the shot off or he'd play the pass, because I think the majority of the season we've found with Wirtz where he does all the hard bit, and then at the last second he won't pull the trigger, or he'll make the wrong decision. But I found last night he was making a lot of right decisions. There was a bit in the first half where he hits the post first of all, but there's one before that where he drives in off the left, goes down the line, cuts back in, goes back down the line, and puts a ball great across the box, but there's no one to attack the front post. But again, if you've got one of your front 3 who are on form, you score all day long there, don't you? And he gets all applauded. But he took the piss, quite frankly.
I can't remember whether it was Gerard who was saying it in the studio or whether it was one of the co-coms saying the fact that it was actually Owen Hargreaves saying that if the players had finished the passes he put in, he'd have had 4 or 5 assists in his first 4 or 5 games, and people wouldn't be talking about anything because it was just other players not finishing off. So it's the same thing last night. But his feet, when he's moving through the box, he's going to get penalties because he's going to have players taken down because they can't deal with how he's weaving around them. I've said it loads of times. It sounds like hyperbole, but it's like he moves like Dalglish. Again, another 70s reference, but you've probably seen more Dalglish. But he moves like Kenny. That's what he does. He's got that weight. He's got that little...
He glides, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a shimmy, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's got that sort of Peter Beardsley shoulder drop and move around. He's phenomenal.
He was the catalyst last night because we dug in for the first probably 20-25 minutes, and he just took the game by the scruff of the neck and thought, right, I'm going to make something happen now. And for the last 15 minutes of the first half, he just pretty much run the show. He was unbelievable.
It's like that moment when Torres realised he could beat all these other teams that were in front of him, and none of them were that good, and he was better than them. I think that's where Florian. But it was his physical work as well. Physically last night, it was the most robust he's been. He was winning battles physically rather than just through trickery. We know he's put weight on, obviously. I'd like to know how they've done it because...
Being sat in that chair,
He's on this chair. If anybody could, from Anfield, get in touch with me and just give me Florian Wirtz's diet, I'd be very happy. But he's getting stronger and stronger. And last night was physically, I think, his biggest test, his biggest challenge. And he walked through it.
I think that's what goes unnoticed for me with Wirtz, is how hard he works.
Yeah.
He runs his arse off, he throws himself about. For a lad of his size, he gets stuck in.
Especially when he's playing in the midfield three and not in the forward three, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. And I think last night, like you said, was a prime example of him doing so. There was a point in the second half where we all looked a little bit tired, and he's just pressed the whole way.
Yeah.
And we penned them in their box, and it forced them a long ball again, which we won, and then we actually got the ball back and we kept hold of it for a few minutes. But again, like, the high press is what we've needed from a 10 with that excellence. I think when you're playing Soboslai in the 10, he offers you engine and that's it. Whereas he doesn't offer the trickery and the flair the Florian Wirtz does. Whereas now you can see that he's slightly adapting his game to do that, which benefits us going forward because we're not getting it off Salah, we're not getting it off Gakpo. So the 10 is now the core press for us.
Yeah, and at the same time, last night there were moments where he's dropping between the two central midfielders to drop deep to take the ball and start there. His intelligence is ridiculous. His game intelligence is just absolutely ridiculous at the moment.
Just going back to your point when you were saying earlier about he would have had probably a lot more goals and assists earlier in the season. And I think it was players getting on his wavelength, not him trying to get on other players' wavelength. I think he was ahead, streets ahead of everyone else.
Well, there was a good point made on the pink last night. I can't remember who made it. But it was the idea that now when Salah gets the ball, Salah's first thought now is where's Wirtz, and the way it used to be where's
that's everyone's first thought now though, is where's Wirtz.
Give it to him.
Yeah.
Give it to him and something will happen.
Yeah, I did like Steven Gerrard at half-time just keep saying, they just need to keep passing to Wirtz. It's like sometimes tactics are just that easy. What do you think they should do differently? Pass to him more.
I thought it was great from Gerrard when he said what he looks for in any game is which player he'd like to play with, and he's like, I'd love to play with him.
Yeah. But
also, give him the ball and see things happen.
Yeah, but it was interesting also when he was saying, like, he doesn't want to come and get it. Like, let McAllister and Gravenberch do that and just stay up because we... That was the thing with Stevie, I remembered, and he had to learn to trust the players behind him when he was in that 8 role, or for him it's a 10 role you call it now. And as soon as he got Alonso, he was fine. He was happy then because he knew Alonso and then later Mascherano would feed him the ball. And that's the thing with Wirtz. We need to make sure that he's in a position long term where he's going to hurt the opposition, because it's all well and good, beating your man or doing some nice footwork in your own half. You can hurt people around the box, and this is how we're going to beat these low blocks, and this is how we're going to create opportunities against this team who are making it hard, like Sunderland managed to for the most of the games. It's by getting him in areas of the pitch where the opposition don't want him.
Well, that's what's so good about having that pivot with Macker and Gravenberch in there and just saying, listen, you stay there, you operate in that space between us, between our front three, because you're the link to everything that's going on here. Because like you say, we're not getting much of Salah, we're not getting much of Gakpo in there, so everything has to go through him. And I think this summer is critical that we provide a proper six, a proper protective six, if you like, in behind him. Because we've got the goalkeeper, we've signed a centre half, we've got the 2 strikers, we've got Wirtz. I think we're just missing that 6 behind him, potentially to take us into next season.
Yeah,
and have that spine.
I think I agree with that, Jimmy. I think this is the midfield. I like them all as individuals, but I think if Wirtz is going to work as a 10, and I think that's where we all want him, I think you've just sort of got to bulk it up a little bit, and that's not to talk down any of the players we've got. And listen, the midfield as a combination worked really well last season, but that was as a combination, as a free. Wirtz is more attacking. We want him to be more attacking. He's not going to be around the pitch sort of like Szoboszlai was, so you need to compensate a bit more, and if that means a bit less game time for some good players, or maybe even moving one of them on if you feel like it has to, it looks like that's probably going to be Curtis, then sort of so be it, because I think we need to find a way to get him in the centre, because he's the future of the football club, and I think it'd be a real shame if we have to move him out wide because we can't get that midfield balance right. We need to get that balance right behind him, and I agree with Dan, it's probably getting someone who is that little bit more imposing in whatever way that is.
There's 100% a plan for that, and I look at the juxtaposition of the midfield three last season, and I'd say we've seen it a lot in the beginning of the season. People were going, just go back to basics, go back to Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister as a flat 3, and let's be solid. Let's be structured. But no, fuck that. Put Florian Wirtz in there. I don't care who's behind him. Put him in the heart of that midfield. He's the nucleus to our team. He's what we need to keep us ticking. There's been seasons where we've been crying out for a creative 10, because the last one we had was Coutinho.
Yeah.
So it's been a good 10 years since we've been crying out for a creative 10. We've now got him. People are saying, let's just go back to basics, or let's put him up left. No, he's the best player we've got in this team at the minute, by far. Technically, he is so good. But I look at the signings that we've made in the summer, and there's 100% a plan for it. There's no way you buy 2 top-class number 9s and a 10 like that, and there's no plan for it. I think
you've got to have a plan of how you're using them, whether it's a triangle at the top or whether you think Ekatike pulls up to the left.
But then that goes back to Dan's point, where you get a solid 6. You go to a down midfield, you get a solid 6. You have one of Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Jones. You've got 4 there. You can rotate, and then you keep Wirtz, and whoever that 6 is, you can just keep chopping and changing. Then you've got 2.
And you're using your width with your fullbacks, because
but that's what Carr has in Frimpong.
We almost need like an Endo type player, but better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like a gnarly player who's going to get stuck
How
in.
dare you? There's nobody better than Endo.
I know, speaking, especially after last night as well.
I was sad, wasn't it? Like, that
Awful.
was the only really negative of the night. You know, there's only really positives, but for Endo, the fact that he injured himself, putting in a great challenge at the back post, you know, it's a really dangerous ball. Liverpool have just scored, you know, suddenly Sunderland are spared into action. They put this great ball in, and he's stretching, isn't he? And he's injured himself, putting his body on the line, and then the fact that he chose to get back up when he must have been in agony, just because he wants to give enough time for that sub.
Yeah.
It just sums him up.
Do you know what something put up as well with the fact that Sunderland obviously got in at half time after we were in the ascendancy. The manager clearly said they've got a makeshift right back in here. We hadn't attacked him once, and I think they had about first 5 minutes they come out. They put about 2 or 3 attacks together. Every single one were down there left at Endo, and he stood up. He stood up to every single one, and then, like you said, just we scored. They put us on the back foot a little bit. We dropped off. We invited a bit of pressure. The clearance they made was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
To actually get there, to kind of just take it away for a corner, and then to actually get up and want to play on, which looks like an awful injury as well. You know, a fair play.
It looks like ligaments, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like a season end.
Well, I was reading like a physio thing today on Instagram. It was like, if it's this, it's this. I thought, and one of them, like, if it's the worst one, he could be out for 3-4 months plus. Yeah, so
the fact he got stretches off as well, and that takes a lot for them.
Yeah.
The fact to go up.
There was oxygen and everything, but I think he must know he's bad. I think he's aware of what happened the other week, where we were down to 10 and conceded, and I think he's just thinking, listen, I know I'm fucked here, but I'm not going off until someone else is ready to come on.
No, he's put himself absolutely on the line for it, but I think he could have stayed down. Staying down would have given somebody else the time to come on. I mean, it's like, it didn't look like he was actually physically capable of standing up, and he still stood up and still moved around.
we were defending the corner, weren't we? And he's in the box, hobbling around. You like, just go down.
It's like when Carragher tried to walk off a broken leg.
Yeah.
Alonso was stamping it on the turf back when he played. Yeah.
It's just absolutely a mad thing too. But he'd been impeccable. He hadn't put a foot wrong, and you know, we've seen him have a couple of shaky games when he's had to come in. He's not been used, and it gives you everything. He's a proper professional. He has been since the day he signed for us, and you know, the fact that must be basically the end of his Liverpool career last night, I think, by the looks of it. But he's been excellent. You know, he's been a great servant. But credit also, Joe Gomez came on. Joe Gomez was absolute quality. Joe Gomez showed what he ought to do.
Yeah, that header that he put back to Alisson.
Yeah.
He's so calm,
Yeah.
like, it's unbelievable. And sometimes, like, it's a bit of a pain, because it's like, you're like, come on, Joe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want him to get going a bit. But in those situations, he's perfect, isn't he? Because, like, the weather's mad, you know, they're starting to throw things at us, and he's just coming on, like, just chill out, it's fine, I'll just edit back.
It's just his personality. You see him, obviously, around the training ground in the socials and stuff that the club put out, and he's the calmest man in the AXA.
Yeah, but it was what was needed when he come on. And listen, he's been such a great player for us over the years.
He's a good player.
And,
He's a really good player.
He's our longest serving player, and he's been fantastic. And that was just another demonstration of it last night.
Yeah. Touching on your, sorry to butt in, but jumping on your point with Gomez and Endo, I thought last night was just a really professional performance from everybody.
Yeah.
It was a in quotation marks, a mentality monsters performance that we've needed, and we haven't done all season. You look at some of the games this season, we've got to 80 minutes and we've crumbled like a cheesecake. Yeah. It's been terrible. Whereas this season,
I think you could have got a better example of that.
Probably could have, but
Cheesecake, you don't want to associate that, really. A cookie.
A cookie, possibly.
Cookie crumble, yeah.
Crumbling like
There
a
you go.
crumble might be, yeah.
that's a better analogy. Crumble. But no, like I said, I thought there's been times where we've got to 80 minutes and we've absolutely crumbled.
Our heads have gone.
Whereas last night, it was so professional, it was so mentally strong, and we dug in, and we dug deep. The fact there was an 8 minute, was it 7 or 8 minutes at a time?
7, and then they obviously do a little.
And then they played even more. We were absolutely outstanding.
You know what I liked, about when you were talking about 80 minutes then, I like the manager's decisions to make some subs rather than reacting because something had gone on in the game. It was like, you can see people are flagging, you can see Ekatike is gone. Jones needed to come on because he retains the ball so well for us. We needed to keep the ball in midfield. And he actually made subs at the right time.
He got them spot on last night.
Yeah, he did,
really well. I think the Chiesa sub was perfect because we were pinging the ball long and there was no one to chase or harry it or hold it up. And that Chiesa's perfect.
He came on with legs. So, although there was a sprint he made down the left-hand side where we're like 93rd minute, he makes a sprint, loses the ball and instantly like, oh, Jesus, this is exact. But we
gets back in
that perfectly, got back. Yeah.
But that's my point in saying that it was such a professional performance and it was a really mentally strong performance. Both the centre-backs were brilliant, the full-backs were brilliant. The keeper weren't really troubled. There weren't really many shots on goal, but we dealt with everything that was thrown at us. We rolled all the punches. We got rid of everything that was thrown at us. The midfield was really strong, and it was, again, I keep using the mentality monsters phrase, but that's the type of performance and the type of mentality you need in games like that when you go into a home ground where the team hasn't been beat at home all season. Arsenal have struggled, City have struggled, United, all these big teams who are doing better than us this season have struggled at this ground, and we shut up shop. We got at them early doors. We had a really strong first 45, I thought, and then the fact that when we scored, we had our backs against the walls a little bit, but we dealt with it really well. And there's been games this season where we struggle and we shit ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
City being the main example, but
the
the juxtaposition in both the performances really baffled me because you look at that City game and that 30 to 40 minute spell in that second half was absolutely outstanding. To then turn around and just go absolutely awful. Whereas that we started really well and then we just built on that. The minute we scored, it was like the 65th minute around that time, wasn't it?
It was a little bit earlier, but I think...
It was around 60, 65, but once that goal scored, we still carried on, we still harried them. But the minute they gained momentum, it was like, right, no, let's shut up shop now and
but we
let's be
didn't
strong
drop
as a team.
But then when we did have to drop, you got to the point where, talking about Salah before, Salah's back, tracking back more than I've seen him in a game. I'm interested in how the shape looked in the ground, because on telly, once we settled down, I thought it looked more obviously 4-2-3-1 than we've done at any other point.
Yeah, it looked quite similar to that, but it looked like the wingers were quite deep in a sense. It looked
dropped to 4-4-2 quite a bit as well.
It looked like two banks of four in a sense with Wirtz just behind Ekatike. That's how it kind of looked to me from the stands. But I found at times at the beginning of the first half that McAllister and Gravenberch kept coming out left. That's what I noticed, and then Wirtz would come in. So it looked like a bit of a just disjointed midfield, but I think it's just because of the way they were playing and the way they were set up. The fact that they had no Granit Xhaka as well last night was absolutely massive for us, because the last time we played them at Anfield, he absolutely took the piss. He dictated the game, and I know we only drew, but it felt like he won them that game in a sense, because he got the better of the 11 of our players, and last night was... Thank God he weren't there.
I couldn't understand why they didn't put any long throws against us.
Yeah.
I think they tried it early doors, but we nullified it really quick. And there was.
Because they did a lot short, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think it's because in the first 5 minutes they had two, and we shut it down.
Maybe the towels weren't working.
The towels were soaked. You're in the middle of a cloud.
It's wet when I started drying it. This ball, I wonder what it was. Talking about the approach, I thought we did get a little bit deeper, but we were hitting them on the break, and that's what was nice. And I'm watching stoppage time, and listen, you're a little bit nervous. I was watching it at home, my wife was laughing at me, pacing up and down and all that, and she was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "We've conceded a lot of late goals recently, Laura." And she's like, "Oh, okay." But I was pacing up and down, but that's just because you're anxious, because you want to win so much, but. Actually, we were more likely to score than them. Salah goes through twice. Once he tries to cut in and we win a corner, which was no bad thing at that time because of it takes a bit of time out. And then the one just after where he does hit it on his right and it goes just past the post. And listen, he'd love one of them to go in for him, but it was important that we were still carrying a greater attacking threat than them in that game. Listen, they might have had a little bit more of the ball and obviously pumping it in, but the fact that we continuing to look dangerous in those moments, again, is a bit of a shift from previous games.
And I think, again, coming back to my point, credit to the manager as well for making those changes, because I think...
Yeah, because Jones was part of that.
We were looking leggy. I thought Curtis were unlucky not to get a start, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think he's done nothing wrong in it. Any time that he's played, he's one of his best players in terms of retaining the ball. And as I say, when we got him on and Chiesa on, we had the legs then to get back up the field. And credit to, you mentioned about Salah as well, getting some chances. He spent a lot of time on the edge of his own box, doubling up on their winger. So to get the legs as well, to get back up and obviously to nearly get a couple of chances and nearly get that goal, he did a good shift, to be fair. And I just wish with Salah though that sometimes he'd just take a shot on his right foot a few more times.
He didn't, he fluffed it.
Well, that's what.
Well, it was.
I think he had one before,
close,
didn't he?
yeah.
It looked really wide from where I was sat.
Oh, it was close. Yeah, it was close.
Was it?
Oh, he was really close.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just past the post. Funny angles, isn't it? But yeah, it's funny. I tweeted before. It was a big night for the 2018-2020 team. For all those boys, really. Virgil obviously gets the winner. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scored the winner for Celtic, which is amazing.
Good goal as well.
But shout out to Andy Robertson. You're watching him last night and thinking, thank heavens he stayed, because obviously there's a bit of a talk about moving on in January, but the fact that he can just come in and play to that level is brilliant, and I just love him. Love everything he's done for us, and if he's got a few more of them before the summer, then that'll be very nice indeed.
I think, again, it's, the years drop away from Andy, and it's easy for me to say at my age, I'm still old enough to be his dad, he's, he gave everything again. He's been one of the best left-backs I've ever seen. I've been watching left-backs since Alec Lindsay, and I think he is possibly our best ever left-back. And he will always, it's more leadership on the pitch for you as well. As soon as he's there, he's another leader on the pitch, and he can talk to people through a game round him as well. So he gives you absolutely everything. He knows, I'm floundering for a point here, to be honest. I can hear myself saying he gives you everything there about 14 times.
He does, though.
He does.
That's a hell of a footballer, though, doesn't it?
I think Virgil trusts him more as well. He gives him the ball more than he gives Kirkus the ball, and I think Kirkus has played well recently.
I think Kirkus has been really good recently.
But he looked like he needed a rest. The fact that there's someone who can come in and give him that, we haven't got that luxury across the pitch.
If Robbo had moved to Spurs, which wouldn't have looked like the best idea on earth at the moment.
Can you imagine? We were literally been dropping away in numbers at about 4.
Got to try and sign his manager next week, can't we?
Probably, yeah.
Maybe that's all he's coming in, playing manager.
He had his eye on it right away. Thought this isn't going to last. I can get this sorted. If we'd got Tsimikas back, you wouldn't have trusted Tsimikas to do the same job that Robbo did last night.
No.
You wouldn't trust him as a 90-minute player, and you'll always trust Robbo. So
I look at the team sheet now, and if I see 6 or 26 on there, I am made up. Regardless who is left back, I'm now relaxed. At the beginning of the season, I was like, get Robertson in, because Kerr has looked dead frantic. But Kerr has now settled. When Robertson comes in, it's a very disciplined performance every time. And everyone sings his praise every time he plays. He might play 1 and 3, but that 1 and that 3, it's a brilliant performance. And then the other 2 games Kerr has plays, he offers a little bit something different than Robertson. But they're both so disciplined and they're both so well weathered in that back line now. And that's what I think we've kind of struggled with. We've had a massive issue at right back at the minute, haven't we? We've had non-fit, and there's been conversations to throw me or Calvin Ramsey in there. So that's where we're struggling.
I think it's you head of Calvin Ramsey.
It's got to be. And I think Slot would trust me more as well. But with the left back situation now, I'm quite happy playing either in there. If Robertson was to play the next 5 games on the bounce, I wouldn't be screaming for Kirkus to go in.
No.
Do you think you could play them both down there?
Well, I thought last night that's what he was going to do. I thought he was going to double up because they were having a bit of joy down that right-hand side because, again, we looked a bit tired come 80 minutes and I was like, do me a favour, throw Kirkus on for Gakpo and just double up. Because their winger was full of pace. I was like, bring Gomez on, he can deal with them. Salah's coming in and then just double up on their right winger. I'd
imagine that both Robbo and Kirkus would understand each other's game enough to be able to combine quite well as well. And they're both a threat going forward. Yeah. So you've got the 2 things there. I think it would make the only reason not to do it would be to protect your player from injury.
But with that, I kind of think fuck that because I know we've got a lot of players injured, but play your best team. I want to see the same team against Brighton, or the odd. Obviously, we can't change it very much, but I don't want to see the likes of Endo, Chiesa, all that start.
You're not going to see Endo, lads.
Well, I know we're not, but that style of play. That style of play.
You can ask them to play.
He's in Walton at the moment going, I can do Saturday night.
But I don't want to see them style of players who are your so-called bench players playing.
It needs to be the first team.
I don't think he's got the option though, has he? I think the FA Cup potentially could salvage our and the manager's season. So
he hasn't got the option, but two, we're now coming towards a run-in, and we now need to win pretty much every game.
Yeah,
and
so we need the rhythm.
Yeah, we need consistency. We need to get a bit of a rhythm going. So, all right, a change here and there, fine. If you want to bring Jones in for McAllister, fine. Kirkus for Robertson, fine. But I don't want to see a lot of disjunction in that team. I want it to be very well structured. I want it to say quite similar to the way it's been. I want to, in 10 games time, I want to see a similar lineup to last night in 10 games.
You're almost going back to last season, aren't you? We're playing with potentially 12, 13 players.
Yeah.
But this is our running team now.
But then the people who are coming back from injury, then you build them in, then you weld them in, and then you create what you've got, but you build on it, you become stronger. I don't want to see chopping and changing 4 or 5 changes on Saturday. I want to see pretty much the same lineup, with maybe 1 or 2 changes in there, because we now need to get some rhythm. Because with Chelsea and United dropping points this week, it's absolutely massive for us.
And the rhythm breeds confidence as well. So
100%.
We haven't got a midweek game next week, have we?
No, not after.
So we play Saturday night, and then we go a week.
And, well, 8 days, because it's Forest.
8 days,
Forest away from home. So it's 2 big games coming up. But again, with us not having a midweek break, with us having a midweek break, I want to see a pretty similar lineup for the next 2 games, unless someone goes down and gets injured.
Well, you're jumping ahead to part 3. That is on Brighton, so we will do that. But first of all, here's Keo on Your Life Matters.
Hello everyone, with me I've got Joe Jones from Your Life Matters initiative around men's mental health and suicide. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you're here, Joe, and what you're raising money for?
Yeah, well, Keith, first, thanks for having us on and supporting the cause. It's really appreciated. For myself and for everyone else, the cause is to raise as much money as possible to help these amazing charities out there and give them more money to do more work to help suicidal men. And the reason I've set it up is the Light project will be so impactful emotionally. It's going to make people want to get involved and pretty much bring humanity together, and let's all help each other. It's get as much help for everyone, because it's really bad out there at the minute and too many men are suffering.
On the figures, there's 12 men in this country that lose their lives every day to suicide.
Yep.
That's 4,300 men a year.
Yep.
That number means a lot to yourself, and that's the amount of lights that you want to install to raise awareness for this. But that's just too many men, isn't it?
It works out. 1 man every 2 hours loses their life in England, just England alone. So the numbers, I think, was just shy of or on 5,600, and the men were 4,300. So we take up 3/4 of the statistics of male suicide in England. And with that, there's children involved in that though. So it's bad all round, and the impact I want to do is put a light down for each person to resemble them. Everyone's welcome to come from anywhere, come down, support it, and be involved, and just spread kindness, just be kind to everyone.
I do feel over the last few years, especially in my life, there's been a lot more said about men's mental health, and we do seem to talk a little bit more about it, but we're still nowhere near where we need to be. Looking at them figures, are we?
No, because the figures aren't going down. It shows each year when they release the figures, they're not going down, and they fluctuate tiny, but it's always up. And for myself, it's the mainstream media and adverts, billboard, they can help massively. It doesn't cost them to put something on the billboard or to advertise it. Why can't it be on the radio more? Why can't it be on the telly more? They share a lot of other things like drinking and gambling, and I'm not saying don't stop that and nothing against it, but if people can invest so much for that, then why can't they invest in the mental health? Because mental health coincides with them too as well, and people find it as a slippery slope. So why can't we do a nice advert? It doesn't have to be anything sad or traumatic. It can be something nice to promote it. Do it more around Christmas, because Christmas is a tough time, and there's people out there who have no one, and that's the thing, is to give them encouragement to find a bit of self-love and keep going.
we talked about the lights. We'll tell the audience a little bit more about the lights and what these signify. Can you just sort of paint a picture of what it is you're trying to do to raise awareness for this?
So what I'm doing, I'm trying to, because on a piece of paper when you write 4,300, people look at it and go, oh, okay, it's just a number. But when you see it visually, it hits you harder and it makes you realise. Yeah. And you've seen the pictures yourself, how impactful the night can be when all the lights are on and everyone's there supporting it. So it's for that, and it's to raise as much money, one, to help with the funding of the project, and two, so we can give as much money between the charities so then they can implement that into men's health and benefit others that are in desperate need.
There's a very high possibility that there's someone watching this who may be suffering from mental health issues themselves. They may be having dark thoughts. Yeah. What would your message be to them?
Open up. You may think it's the biggest and hardest step you can do, which at the time it is, and then as soon as you do it, you do feel that sense of relief, and you know there's people out there then that know that you need help. If you are struggling, you can phone 111 and dial 2. You can phone Samaritans and every agents at 999. Lean on your friends and family. Don't be feeling that you're a burden, you know. Like, they'd rather see you safe and have a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning than to be reading a eulogy for you. Like, and that's simply put for me. My friend was saying, I'd rather be up in the morning listening to your call than reading a eulogy for you. And
we say talk and talk. I think it's also important to check in as well. I mean, we'll all know friends who are having a bit of a bad patch. We'll all have family who may be going through a bit of a bad patch. And sometimes you can feel like you're intruding a little bit by saying it, but that's definitely not the case. No. It's just as important to check in on people as it is. The message to check in is just as important to talk.
Well, what's the way you can check in and they say no, but if you feel something wrong, just ask them and get them to open up. All right, be a little bit annoying to them, but be there. That's the main thing. Just show people that you're there. And we need to encourage people. And I don't know why we do it, but men are great at it. You know, they're great at mastering the art of pretending they're okay. Yeah. And they're not. And
it's all right to not be as well. I mean, that message gets pushed across our desks and our screens and our phones all the time. It's okay to not be okay. But actually acting upon that and reaching out and speaking is a huge thing for some people. And it's a very important thing that they do, because as you just said there, I'd much rather be having a conversation about someone having a difficult time. Even if I haven't got the tools to help you personally, we can find your help, or we can find the right people to speak to. I'd much rather that than find out, you know, that something really bad's happened, and as you say, before you know it, you're at a funeral that you shouldn't be at.
Yeah, knowing that if you just spoke to them, could it have changed the outcome? Absolutely could have. You know, as for me, I was fortunate enough, my wife saved me and my friends, and I'm here now, and I don't want other families or friends to feel that impact, and I don't want the person to feel broken or lost. And finding peace, there's other ways of finding peace with help than taking your own life, and this is where we've got to make a change.
And like I say, it's going to be spectacular when it comes off. It's going to be 4,300 lights. And to do that, we need some money. We need to raise some funds. You have a Just Giving. Can you tell the viewers what the Just Giving is and how they can help?
Yeah, so if you go onto Instagram, it's Your Light Matters UK, and there's a Just Giving page on there. Everything, for me, is non-profit. I'll be open and transparent with any money that comes in, what it goes towards, who it goes towards. I will keep the public in the loop, because at the end of the day, it's as much as it's my project, it's everyone else's who is involved. It's your hard-earned money that's going to save people, so you have the right to see what's going on. And any updates along the way, I will post. But if anyone can make this change, who can donate money or something that is dramatically life-changing to help the project happen, then please get in touch, and it can be anonymous. We don't have to discuss anything, but please feel free to call me and we can go through the motions of getting that sorted. Thank you.
Well, Joe, I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. I know it's something that's very close to your heart, and it's something that we definitely need to act on in this city and in this country. If you can help out, it's Your Light Matters on Instagram. You can Google Your Light Matters. Give what you can.
And we are back in the room with Midweek Extra, still with Dan, with Jimmy and with Ian. And we're still in association with NordVPN. Huge thanks to them for partnering with us for the season. It is a fantastic service that so many of you use, and it is a way of giving yourself, well, that extra peace of mind when using the internet, especially if you're abroad or you're logging into public Wi-Fi spaces. There's a lot of people after your data at the moment, and this can protect you from all of that and more. So nordvpn.com/TAW if you want to get yourself a fantastic deal. It will list all the benefits on there of the service, but one of the main ones that why so many of you are using it is that ability to click a button and change your virtual location. So you could be here and you want to go somewhere warmer, or maybe with different television, different streaming, or maybe a place that allows you to show something that's happening up the road, but part of some sort of blackout, but is available to watch in other countries. That's what NordVPN can do for you. So loads of you using it. Thanks a lot for your feedback. Do let us know if you found it easy to use. Nord always appreciate that, but we do really appreciate them, and it is a fantastic service indeed. I'll give you that web address again, nordvpn.com/TAW. We also want to give a shout out for Back of the Cop. It's been a while since we have you on. You're still plugging away on a Monday night. It's going well. The boys are in the groove now, and you're enjoying it.
Yeah, well, it's 21 episodes in now, so we're a good chunk in now, but it's going really well. The lads are really settled. I'm settled. Feels weird not being a host. Not asking questions. I'm waiting to be asked what to say. But no, it's going really well, and the lads are smashing it. And again, being able to go last night, and the purpose of the podcast is to share going home and away as a young fan. And last night was one of them.
Did you see any of the boys there? Did you see Jacob or anyone?
No, I seen Phil Blundell though.
He's definitely not a young boy, but always sort of nice to see him. But it's Back of the Cop on YouTube and on all the social channels if people want to check it out or let people know about it, then we'd appreciate it, wouldn't we?
Yeah, really much so. Make sure you subscribe, whichever camera needs.
Absolutely. And Dan, you come in to see us this morning because you've got your own channel as well. You're a season ticket holder at Anfield, so you're coming over for a lot of the games, and you do a bit of post-match stuff on the way back and throughout the week as well.
Yeah, so it's this camera, Cop Noise TV, so if anyone wants to get over there, make sure to subscribe, YouTube and Instagram, and yeah, like I say, at Anfield all the time, so what better than to kind of get that instant match reaction, literally straight from the stadium. It's make sure you get over there and subscribe.
Yeah, do check it out. I do support Dan and obviously Jimmy and the boys if you can. And Ian, you've always got something to promote.
Always, just not at the moment. You know that annoying thing you do when people ask you what you're working on, and you go, "I'm working on something. I've got something happening, but I can't tell you yet."
Yeah.
I've got something happening, but I can't tell you yet.
Have a clue.
So I will have. Not a chance.
Not a clue.
Music, football.
Could be anything at all.
I have gotta be yoga.
Honest to God, that sounds like everyone keeps telling me it's good for old men. So yeah.
There's a play in that. There's a play in the yoga retreat.
There is something happening I just can't talk about yet.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, we'll all keep out of that.
Anticipation.
Yeah.
Brighton on Saturday night then in the FA Cup. I mean, you hinted at that, Jimmy. It'd be nice to go strong. There's the week gap afterwards. Brighton, I think, will bring a decent team because, if they don't play the first team, it'll be some Colombian lad you've not heard of who's gone for 80 million in 3 years' time. And so they just have them knocking
Chelsea.
about. Yeah, exactly. So they just have them knocking about. So Brighton will be decent. Brighton will be up for it. And we need to make sure we are as well because it'd be nice to go deep in the FA Cup.
I think we will be up for it as well. 8 o'clock under the lights at Anfield. Again, I've reverted back to the Newcastle game before, but same goes with this. The crowd was up for it because of the time of the kick-off, the bigness of the game, and I think this as well. Like you touched on before, Dan, it's massive for the manager's job. I look at the managers. I know I'm kind of segueing a little bit, but I look at the manager and his job security and go, he needs the FA Cup and top 5. Or the Champions League, because one, you don't sack a Champions League with a manager, and two, it's really hard to go back to back in the Premier League. So if you re-qualify for the Champions League and walk away with a trophy, you're made up.
Yeah.
And I look at, and I see a lot of people getting a little bit annoyed with performances, but I'd rather play really bad for 38 games and win them all and win the league. Because you seen it last season, we were really poor for the back end of last season. We won the league. But if we play well we play this amazing football that people keep banging on about for 38 games. And we don't win the league, that's where you get pissed off because you're not winning trophies. And that's why I think Saturday's so important. We need to Brighton are a really good side. But with them onto the season, we scored early doors. Ekatike scored in 40 odd seconds. So let's make it 30 seconds this week. And hopefully we can go on and win the thing.
You can't win a trophy every year, Dan, that's a fact, but as Liverpool, you need to give it a good go. We haven't given it enough of a good go in the Premier League this season. We've been out of the title race for far too long. You know, you want to be in it in April. This is mid-February. We're saying we've got no chance and have done for a while. So the League Cup is gone. Fine, that happens some seasons, doesn't it, when you're trying to balance everything. But the FA Cup and Champions League, you know, we need to be having a good go at both of those, really. And there's an opportunity to do that on Saturday.
Well, I think the manager almost backed himself into a corner with the FA Cup, because if you remember the League Cup, he pretty much flogged that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it against Palace at home?
Yeah, just threw it away.
Yeah, exactly.
It made perfect sense at the time, I thought.
Yeah, and so now, league form, we've obviously dropped off a little bit. We're sat outside the top 5 now, still got a chance in the Champions League, but I think this FA Cup is a chance for him to almost showcase himself, or almost get some of the fan base back on side, because, you know, he's got his critics. Some I think warranted, some I think are a little bit too much. And I think for me, I said it beginning of the week, I think these 2 games, Sunderland and Brighton, were make or break for him. I really do. I think if he'd have lost them both, I think that he'd have found himself in a little bit of hot water. So the fact that we've gone away to Sunderland, we've done that, ticked that box off. If we can put a performance in now back to back, and then, like you say, we've got a good week off then into the next Premier League game, I think this is a chance to actually go again and put a bit of a marker down.
Yeah, and having lost last time at Anfield as well, you know, which was obviously a real shame for a variety of reasons, but, you know, we had a good week at Anfield in the Champions League, and then the Newcastle 10 goals.
We scored 10 goals.
Yeah, and you're feeling like this is, you know, getting the fortress back, and then they obviously get beat by City first time for Pep with fans in the ground, and so you're low again. It'd be great to follow up Wednesday, not just with a win, but a good win at home and then into the next round.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely essential, isn't it? Yeah, I sat here again, sat there Tuesday, saying that the way we're playing. It's honest. That's a more depressed seat. I'm much more positive in this.
You're facing me, and
the old me. I've allowed you to be positive there. I've come over here to bring some positivity to myself. I sat there saying that, you know, if we played the way we were playing against City in the last 20 minutes, we weren't going to beat anybody in any game that mattered. You know, Champions League would be pointless, because as soon as we come up against anyone decent, we're going to lose over 2 legs. I felt the same against Brighton. I couldn't see where another win was coming from. After last night, I think we're open again. I think, you know, we've shown what we can actually do. We've shown the side of us that is much more positive. And the FA Cup has become a very, very important thing, because, as you said, you can't win a trophy every season, but you can try to.
Yeah.
And if you can't win the league, then win the FA Cup. Yeah, I obviously come from an age where the FA Cup was a much bigger deal than it is now. And the FA Cup to us used to be, you know, one of the big trophies.
I think it's coming back a bit full circle, isn't it?
It's come a bit more, but it used to be as big as the league. The idea of winning the FA Cup, and that was the glory day, because it was the only game you saw live on telly all season. So winning that would be, it won't compensate for how we performed in the league, but at least push us in the right direction. And it gives the manager something to show that he's achieved something in the season, and he does need something to actually show that he deserves to keep the job, basically, because he will be reviewed at the end of the season. He's only got 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
It could be that they shake hands and walk away at the end of the season, who knows? And if he does, and if he walks away with a trophy, all the more credit to him. But as you said, they're unlikely to sack a Champions League winner.
Yeah.
But
I think as well, though, onto your point, I think we play our best football against sides like the likes of Brighton, teams who come at us. The games this season we've won are teams who have come at us.
Yeah.
The games we've lost, and we've dropped points against your newly promoted side, your bottom half sides. Okay, I know we lose to Chelsea, United and City as well, but they're unfortunate, really late goals. But the majority of the wins we've got this season have come against these type of sides who come at us. And you could see at Brighton as well, when we played them in the league earlier on in the season, they come at us early doors and we punished them for it. And they tried to get at us from, straight away.
Yeah.
And we literally punished them within 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And they were relentless all game, Brighton. But we kept getting at them, and that's where we play our best football. And I think that's why I think getting a team like Brighton in the cup is so important. And I kind of like looking at the draw and getting a team like that, especially at home, because it means we play good football and we kind of express ourselves a little bit better.
yeah, it's a game to take seriously, isn't it? You know, it becomes an event. 8 o'clock on Saturday night, full house. under the lights, it becomes the equivalent of a European game. It's
Yeah.
a game that matters. Normally this time of year, what we're looking at is, can Trainee-only get a game? Can we see 90 minutes for real? And it's not that anymore.
Yeah.
This is the import. This is the meat of the season now.
The meat of the season. You will win?
Yeah.
You do? You're confident?
I am, because if I think you just jog my memory then to, obviously we scored after 40 seconds. The reason why is because Brighton always play out from the back, regardless of how much pressure you're putting on them. They hardly ever go long. And I remember watching them in the church before the game at the weekend against Palace, and they're playing out from the back. They just invite pressure on constantly, and they give you chances, and that's how we end up scoring. I think early doors.
Wins the early doors,
Yeah.
and then it comes into like a TK. The centre back misjudges the bounce, and he buries it.
Yeah. And I think if we do that again, we apply basically the similar tactics. We press them early rather than letting them get a bit of momentum in the game. And I think I could see a 2-3-0, comfortable 2-3-0.
And they're in a bit of a wobbly moment at the moment.
He's under pressure.
Yeah, he doesn't like they don't like the manager. Yeah, they're not sure about him at all. They get beat by Palace at home. It's not great.
No.
For them, obviously.
And
Palace
that is their derby, weirdly.
It was a poor game, that was.
Yeah. So he is under a little bit of pressure, which it can work both ways, obviously. But it's nice to get these teams in these moments for once. Rather than the new manager bounce, which you might have to put him to next week. But you will win.
100%. I go into every game thinking we'll win, especially at Anfield. I'm the most optimistic fan you'll ever meet. I think we'll win every game. I thought last night we were going to win. I thought we'd beat City, and even when our backs are up against the wall, I still think we'll win. Because if you don't think your team's going to win, why the fuck do you support them? Yeah.
See, that's normally my job on these shows, but since the weekend, I've wobbled.
But again, we need it after. I think looking at the last few run of games, starting from the Marseille game. We've been in a better run of form than we have. I know the City game was a little bit of a low blow with the late madness and conceding 2 late goals, but you could see in that game that there was a
We were excellent.
There was a large portion of the game where we were really, really good.
Yeah.
We were brilliant, and if you play like that against most teams, you're absolutely dismantle them. Unfortunately, it's against probably the team who are going to win the league, if not finish second, and who have always pipped us to the post in most seasons. But I think if we do it against the likes of Brighton and these other sides that we've got coming up against, we've got a decent run into the last 4. The last 4 are Chelsea, United, Villa, and Brentford, which are 4 tough games. But if we get to that
get
point,
ourselves in a good position.
we're a little bit we're a good position, bit of momentum. I do not doubt us for any minute that we'll go to Old Trafford and we'll stump them. We'll beat Chelsea. We'll beat Brentford.
Well, 2 of those games where we literally need to take points off the people that we're playing against for their positions.
3 of them games we've been beat to late on. Brentford, Chelsea, United. We've been beat really late to 3 of them. Villa, we absolutely swept off the park. We were brilliant against Aston Villa, and I think that's because we come at them.
Yeah.
And they invite a lot of pressure, and that again, like I said before, that's where we play.
And because they play football.
Well, yeah.
Villa are scraping through games as well. They're not
blowing people away.
No, they're not blowing people away at all. They're definitely scraping through games. I think 1-0. 1-0 they won.
Like an 85th minute on goal.
At the weekend they won all as well.
Yeah. And then the weekend they drew, didn't they?
Yeah. I think United's bubble will burst. I really do. I don't think they'll see the season out doing what they've done for the last 3-4 weeks. I think that bubble will burst somewhat, and Chelsea are really yo-yo side.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've got them all to play as well, it's like, right boys, it's in your own hands here.
Yes, it puts it literally in our hands, doesn't it? So.
Yeah. And I think, like, coming back to your point, Jimmy, where you say, this is a team now. This is 12, 13 players. Go out there. You're going to be playing every single week, whether it's FA Cup, Champions League, in the league. Go do what you're good at, play football, put teams to the sword, beat them, and you'll get your rewards at the end of it.
It's as easy as that. We're all positive, we're all smiling because Liverpool have won. Listen, huge thanks to the boys for joining me this morning. For you guys for watching, to NordVPN, and for Paddy and Andy for making everything happen over there behind the cameras and audio equipment. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Hope you enjoy Saturday if you're going to Anfield, and hopefully we're in the next round of the FA Cup. Up to us.